bonjour, hi, Canada. We're playing your song because your Prime Minister might resign today. Doing my show prep. Canada's Prime Minister faces calls to resign. Here's what could happen next. This is from the AP this morning. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau faces growing pressure to resign from his own Liberal Party after his top minister abruptly quit, criticizing his handling of the budget. Trudeau has led the country for nearly a decade and has become widely unpopular in recent years over a wide range of issues, including the high cost of living and rising inflation. There is no mechanism for Trudeau's party to force him out. In the short term, he could resign, or his party could be forced from power by a no-confidence vote in Parliament that would trigger an election that would likely favor the opposing Conservative Party. He's been having a rough go of it. The new president-elect in the United States, Donald Trump, is using him as a Bobo doll. About 3 hours ago, President-elect Trump posted at Truth Social I can't use my tweet anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do. Can you play the old tweet? So from 2016 or 15 until after the change from Twitter to X, I would always announce a Donald Trump tweet with that music, as suggested to me by the one and only Jan Genera. By the way, if you need a Christmas stocking present, here it is. Go and get yourself Turning Small Talk into Big Talk by Jan Genera over at Jan's Books. But Jan came up with that, and I used it for years, and people liked it. But it doesn't work anymore because the President of the United States doesn't tweet, he posts. So his post at 3:23 this morning, East Coast time, on Truth Social. No one can answer why we subsidize Canada to the tune of over $100 million a year. Makes no sense. Many Canadians want Canada to become the 51st state. They would save massively on taxes and military protection. I think it's a great idea. 51st state. Well, the Canadians really don't want to become a 51st state. I was listening to the Ruthless podcast yesterday, and they're having great fun with this. We could gerrymander Canada. We could, put Montreal and Toronto together in one congressional district and grant that congressional district observer rights in the House, but carve it out of the rest of Canada. The rest of Canada is pretty normal, but you put Montreal and Toronto together, and you've got Vermont. And we don't need another Vermont. We really don't. We need Pierre, how do I say his last name?
You're never going to get this name right. It's Poilievre.
No, I'm not. Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre. Poilievre. And he gave a speech this week. This is help is on the way. Understand, help is on the way for Donald Trump. He's got a friend in Japan. He's got a friend in Italy. He's going to get a friend in Germany. Macron's just kind of, nobody cares. Keir Starmer's a failure. We don't really want any help from him. But he's going to get some help in Canada. Here's Pierre, cut number 19.
When I travel across this country, I consistently meet two types of people. One, those who are a little better off and tell me that, and I'll be very blunt about this, that if I don't win, they will leave the country. And they are very numerous. Yes. But I don't worry about them as much. You know who I worry about? The ones who can't leave. The ones who don't know, and if I can just use very blunt language, who tell me I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I have no idea how I'm going to pay my way. That's right. I met a waitress at a restaurant not long ago, and she came up to me and she grabbed me by the hand and she said, "You have to win." And I said, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate your support." She said, No. It wasn't a compliment. You have to win. And then she told me her story. She told me that she was working one full-time job and two part-time jobs just to pay her bills. As a single woman in her late 50s. And she was tired of working all the time. So she cut everything out of her budget, every creature comfort, everything she enjoyed about her life, she cut it out so that she could drop one of those part-time jobs. And then one morning, she woke up and she walked outside and her car was gone. And she called her insurance and they said they weren't going to cover the replacement value. So she had to take that job back because she simply cannot live her life without a car. Now you can bet your bottom dollar the guy who stole the car, he was probably out on bail. This was not his first job.
That's right.
Her taxes have gone up. Her heating bill has gone up. Her wages have not gone up. She's scared to go out in the streets in places where they didn't even lock the door not long ago. These are the people we're fighting for. These silly games over here, they're very entertaining. The soap opera that everyone's seized with today, that's all fine. But there are real people whose lives are on the line here, and we have a duty to work for them. And quite frankly, this woman doesn't see me as any, or any of us as any kind of savior. They see us all as a last hope. In fact, she doesn't want to be saved. She just wants her life back.
Exactly.
She was taking care of herself just fine before her tax, her heat, her grocery bill went through the roof and her car went missing. She was doing just fine. She was doing everything right. Met another guy at the Labrat Brewery a few days ago, and you can watch the video of me talking with him. He walked up to me and he said, I have 3 jobs and I can't make it. We're renting. We have no hope. We've given up on ever owning a home. We're renting. We can barely make it. And he said to me, I feel ashamed when I talk to my kids because they ask me why I'm never around and why we can never have a house. And I feel like a failure. But he didn't fail. He has been failed.
That's right.
He has been robbed of the promise of Canada. It was a very simple promise, that if you worked hard, you got a good life. Now, it wasn't fancy or extravagant, but you got a house with a yard where you could have kids playing safely, and you could have a nice dog that you could afford to feed along with the kids, and your kids could play safely in the streets. That was the promise. Now, politicians break promises all the time. But you know what was bad about this promise? This promise didn't belong to this Prime Minister. It wasn't his promise to break. It belonged to all of us. And our purpose is to bring home that promise for that young man, that young father, and that older female worker so that they can once again take back control of their lives, live in a safe country where their hard work earns them a good wage, where their rent and their food is affordable, and where, when they go to bed at night, they know that they will be safe throughout their sleep and that they will have their car in their driveway in the morning. A country where people are proud again to fly the flag, where they know the government is a servant and not a master, where they understand that every day the Commons, this place, works for the common people, not for the ego of one man desperate to cling on to his job. We must remember that we are
that one man would be
place.
Justin Trudeau, and by the end of the today, he may be gone. I will talk with Continetti. We do not have a great bench right now. The president-elect of the United States is not looking at a lot of help. He's got Maloney in Italy on his side and Ishiba in Japan, and they're sort of realist. He's burdened with Trudeau and Scholz, who's going to get blown out, I think, in February. He's burdened by Starmer in the United Kingdom, who's at 22% approval. Macron, again, I got nothing. Now, on the other hand, we do have Malay. And Argentina is not part of the G7, but Malay is proving things. He's proving things in Argentina, proof of concept in Argentina, where you can indeed cut the public sector, you can indeed lay off lots and lots of government employees, you can indeed use executive authority within the constitutional structure of Argentina, different from ours, to get a lot done. But if Justin Trudeau goes down today will be a very good day. I did a special report last night. I'll be doing it again tonight. It will be a very good day if we're talking about the fall of Justin Trudeau by the end of today. I don't know that it's going to happen, but it's the big story of the morning. There's a couple other stories, but the Democratic Party is in a very bad way right now, as is the Liberal Party, the Labour Party up in Canada, led by Justin Trudeau. The left just has failed worldwide, and people have noticed, and Americans noticed in November, and we are ready for Donald Trump to kind of be president right now. The long 35 days ahead of America. Stay tuned. I've got the rest of the news and lots of good guests today on the Hugh Hewitt Show.